Hey, beautiful beings! Welcome back to the Faith and Frequency Book Club. In week 3, we shift into the work of action and spiritual freedom. These chapters speak to how we live, how we grow, and how we break cycles that kept us in old versions of ourselves. Ruiz moves from mindset to movement, and as always, we read it through the lens of faith and alignment. Chapter 5, The Fourth Agreement. Always do your best. The fourth agreement ties everything together. It calls us to show up fully and honestly with whatever capacity we have in that moment. Our best is not a fixed measurement. It rises and falls with our energy, our seasons, our emotional state, and our spiritual health. Doing our best protects us from self judgment. When you know you gave what you could, shame loses its power. The inner judge has nothing to stand on. Fear has no place to grow. The author reminds us that trying to exceed our best drains our energy and leads to burnout. Doing less than our best creates frustration and regret. There is peace in the middle. There is grace and consistency. He also teaches that when we take action without being attached to the reward, we rediscover joy. We enjoy work itself. We stop performing for approval and begin living from purpose. Rewards will come, but they no longer define our worth. This chapter calls us to live with intention, gratitude, and presence. Every action, every thought, every small offering becomes a way of honoring God. It is worship through daily life. The line that echoes most is simple. The best way I can say I love you, God, is to live your life doing your best. That is alignment. That is faith meeting frequency. For chapter 6, we look at the Toltec path to freedom, breaking old agreements. This chapter carries the weight of transformation. Ruiz explains that we cannot be free until we recognize where we are not free. Awareness is the beginning of every healing journey. He introduces 3 masteries. Mastery of awareness, seeing yourself clearly, not the version shaped by fear or past wounds, but the version God created. Awareness opens the door to possibility. Mastery of transformation, choosing to change, rewriting agreements, breaking patterns, moving with intention. This is where we put faith in practice. Mastery of intent, the most spiritual of the 3. Intent is the power of life itself. Ruiz calls it unconditional love. We know it as God's presence, guiding, nudging, and sustaining. When we act from love, we live from a higher frequency. This chapter also centers forgiveness. Ruiz says we can forgive not because others deserve it, but because we love ourselves too much to keep paying the price of old pain. Forgiveness restores power. It ends self-rejection. It plants seeds of self-love. It opens the door to the free, whole, God-centered life we deserve. He names us as spiritual warriors, people who show up to the battle in our own minds with awareness, discipline, and truth. We fight to remain ourselves in a world that taught us to perform. The author then brings in a Christian truth we recognize deeply. Live as if today is your last day, not recklessly, but awake, present, grateful. When we stop reliving the past and stop racing into tomorrow, we find the presence of God right here. This chapter frees us to live with clarity, presence, and a renewed sense of identity. For a moment of faith, take a quiet breath and pray, God, help me honor you by offering my best today. Not perfection, not pressure, my best with the grace you gave me. Let that prayer soften any heaviness you have been carrying. For a moment of frequency tuning, close your eyes for a moment. Think of one old agreement, one old belief, or one old pattern you are ready to release. Say gently, I return this. I choose freedom. Feel the space opening inside you. That openness is your frequency lifting. When you shift your thoughts, you shift your frequency. When you shift your frequency, you shift your life. Stay in tune, stay aligned, keep showing up inside out, and most of all, keep reading with faith and frequency.